Lillian de Waters, in the Voice of Revelation, chapter 20, the crucial question. Spirit reveals the stupendous, irrevocable truth that God is not a creator, we are not a creation, and on no occasion was life or being created, caused, generated, produced, or begun. Atomic light is the living flame of new revelation, revealing God to be the one all-inclusive life, being, mind, world, and existence, uncreated, indivisible, infinite. Everyone who has real existence lives inevitably as this beginningless, self-existent life. In no other way could we be eternal, since everything which has a beginning must necessarily have an ending. Reader, accept no longer the orthodoxy of creation. God never told of a creation of beings, minds, or mortals. Discredit the doctrine altogether, as well as any spiritual interpretation of it. There can be no interpretation of the non-existent. The truth is that infinite life and being is the one unseparated whole and all, and that our life and being is this one now and no other. As long as one remains identified with the generally accepted belief that we were born as humans and that eternity lies before us, he has no way of knowing that we were never other than spirit, and that to be, one must be without birth or beginning, indestructible and without end. The heart, which loves the living God more than myth or mystery, person or creed, is not a human heart. The pure in heart are equipped with spiritual vision to perceive that there cannot be both one infinite pure being and other finite impure mortals. We know the teaching of regeneration to be based upon the pagan myth of degeneration or the fall from perfection. We repudiate this doctrine, and further, illumined by our all-absorbing devotion to truth and reality, we refuse to accept the religious teaching of an evil power or entity, which is called by such names as devil, Satan, enemy, adversary, error, mortal mind, or animal magnetism. Inevitably, one must arrive at the perception and conclusion that there is one power, one identity, one consciousness, and there is none other than this one. The teaching and acceptance of another power, another mind, and another world must come to an end. Each must face and answer the crucial question as follows. Was there or was there not a separation from God and the spiritual world? Wonderful and glorious that we can know this great answer from God direct. In no other way would it be the true answer. Through spiritual revelation, it is known for a certainty, and it is declared that our spirit and the Spirit of God is identical, that the Spirit of God dwells in us, in quotes, and that not any part of us is here as a mortal in a temporal human state, while another part exists at a distance in a state of purity and perfection. No, we are not in two parts, one there called the unfallen spiritual man, and another here called a degenerate mortal. Such belief is lacking in vision and truth. Some may say, we do assert that there is one mind, and that there can be no selfhood apart from God. Yes, on one side of their mouth they may say this, while on the other side they continue to teach or believe that one must watch his human thinking, spiritualize his human self, and awaken his human consciousness. All such contradictions originate in one's acceptance of a fall from perfection. Would one believe in mental cause and effect, the Adam belief, the dream of a material life, or the concepts of mortal mind, were he not accepting two states of being and existence? He would not. It shall be perceived and accepted that since there was no creation of mortals or mortality, there can be no humanhood to be improved or human being to be reinstated. The Infinite One is the indivisible whole. The forever I am is the forever one as all, knowing neither physical birth, spiritual growth, or human development. The flaming light of new revelation shall explode the fallacious doctrine of fallen man, sin, sinful world, salvation, and atonement. What need one to do that he may see and say the truth, and nothing but the single truth? He need only turn to God direct. Here he cannot see two. The one will absorb him his complete attention. Here he shall know and say, I am spirit, I am the one being now, and my consciousness of this truth is my spiritual world or universe. Reader, this is what is urged upon you to accept, the truth of the One as our present reality, rather than place our reality in a distant future. Until one knows the innate power and glory abiding within every heart which seeks truth from God direct, he may believe that revelation has come to an end. Through his willingness to discard teachings which do not measure up to the absolute truth of one being and one universe, and identify himself now as this one mind and being without a second, he is bound to see and feel the glory of the light and experience it as his own present spiritual consciousness. There is no duality. Perhaps you may still be wondering how the Absolute takes care of healing and demonstration. The Absolute way is the infallible way. What but divine mind can know perfect being and perfect manifestation to be one and the same? No way exists for us to know our spiritual wholeness, harmony, and abundance of all good, except as this mind. Right here is where many hold back and argue. Still believing the second chapter of Genesis to contain a symbolic account of the beginning of duality, they think and speak of themselves as humanity, working their way out of human sense into spirit, from darkness into light and sickness into health. Accepting matter and mortality as a temporal human state, one is bound to feel the need for healing or demonstration, for he is denying himself the very glory he is seeking, namely the glory of beholding and experiencing the eternal realism that we are the one life and being here and now, and no other. Sometimes it is thought that spirit is our potential nature. It should be seen that spirit is our actual nature only. No need to accept anything as true merely because it is generally taught or believed. It is from spirit we learn that there is no dual world, dual nature, dual mind, dual thought, dual will or existence. Accept not the theory that the human mind is false, that there is strife of truth with error, that we must break down duality, and that we are ignorant until we are spiritualized, and mortal until we are translated. Know and say authoritatively that the human mind does not exist, that truth is the only presence, that the infinite mind knows no error, duality, change, development, or evolution. I am that I am, and there is none else. Attempt not to master material beliefs, handle false claims, or pay for one's sins. What then becomes of mortals' personal sense, counterfeit creation, tempter and temptation, a cause to support or a purpose to serve? Nothing. For how can anything be done about that which never existed? Spirit is not realized by any process of thinking or an ascending scale of greater demonstration as proof of healing or overcoming. Rather than such practice, one should stand still where he is, aware that spirit, body, and world have never deflected from perfection. Taking the eternal truth as our platform, it is simple to conclude that salvation rests in our own spiritual consciousness, that we know the truth of the one without another. When one puts aside his belief in two, spirit and matter, truth and error, divine mind and human mind, spiritual world and material world, God and man, he is ready to understand reality as one and see its forms of beauty and loveliness everywhere about him. A letter just received in today's mail bears witness to this new enlightenment as follows. Quotes, in the study of your books, I have no longer to struggle to get rid of matter. For many years I was confused, as I had been told that matter did not exist. Therefore I felt guilty if I enjoyed the beautiful trees, fields and flowers, as it seemed that I must eliminate them from my vision in order to see spirit. I had no idea how to conjecture a world of spirit and felt that I was hanging in mid-air. Now I know that the flowers, trees, birds, and various forms of life I see before me are not matter, illusion, or material life at all, but spirit, and I enjoy them to the fullest. I know now that spirit is all. End of quotes. Many are asking today, how can I receive inner light and guidance? The answer must be the same always. Inner light or divine knowledge belongs to the one mind alone. If you love God, Spirit, the one divine mind more than all else, with supreme devotion, you will now willingly and gladly sever your belief in another self, mind and thinking, and identify yourself with and as the one divine mind. Since none but this mind can know itself, then in no way except as this mind can you be self-illumined. Laying aside teachings and beliefs which would identify you with the human mind and corporal body, and accepting spirit as the all and whole of you, here and now, you will certainly receive that light which is guidance, peace, safety, and immunity. The absolute message alone teaches the way of self-light and self-illumination, for it alone identifies us as spirit now and not humanity, and as the one now and none else. The Absolute knows that as the divine mind, we can and will be self-illumined, and thus experience the spiritual self and universe as a present reality. Reader, for a certainty, you can enjoy the actuality of the great axiom that spirit is all and there can be none else. The last clause of this sentence is as positive and certain as the first. If you feel that your present experience is not altogether satisfying to you, then study this second clause especially. Your clear perception that there is no other self, power, mind, or thought beside the perfect, complete, and all-inclusive one will disclose to you in luminous clarity that there can be no discord or lack in you. I recall a vivid illumination which came to me one time when a mother had asked help for her young son who she said was getting teeth. I knew the one consciousness to be perfect activity and manifestation. Yet at the end of the next day, the report was the same as originally. I asked myself what it was that I should know further. The answer was immediate and definite, as follows. Timmy is not getting teeth. Then I recognized that I had not included in my knowing the reality that there is none else, that not anything can be formed or made, for everything is present here and now, without a beginning. This perception took care of the situation at once. I could relate hundreds of experiences when illumination was instantaneous and specific as words audibly spoken or inspirationally heard. Mind does not have consciousness. Mind is consciousness. Consciousness does not have a body. Consciousness is body, manifestation, and world. Mind is not one thing taking cognizance of something else. Mind is the thing it sees, and the thing it sees is mind. Mind is not a cause to be followed by an effect. There is no such thing as cause or effect, since everything of spirit is the spiritual world itself, verily our own spiritual consciousness. Nothing of reality is caused or created. Everything of reality is eternally omnipresent. In no other way than as spiritual consciousness can we experience spiritual being, body, and world. End of chapter.